Hi, everybody. Okay, so in this first module, we're going to have a look at airport language because this unit is about travel, and I just wanted to do something that is kind of useful for you, especially when you will be working in jobs that require you to go overseas. So let's have a look at airport language. Okay, the first step when you go into any airport anywhere in the world is to go in and check in and go through the first stage of security. So, for those who have not been in an airport, this is what it looks like. In this Google slide, the agent, that can be the ground staff or the security agent, um, their language will be shown in blue. Okay, so the agent is speaking in blue, and you, as the passenger, will be speaking in orange. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so when you first go to the check-in counter, the very first question, other than can I have your passport and your ticket confirmation, is where are you flying today? What's your final destination? Where are you flying today? What's your final destination? Do you want to try? And it's a very easy question to ask. You're just going to say, I'm flying to Singapore, I'm flying to Heathrow, or I am flying to Johannesburg. Okay? And we use the preposition to. So at the check-in counter, especially if you're doing a long distance flight, you will check in your luggage. Another word for luggage is baggage, and you can also call it your suitcase. So as for you as the passenger, you may ask these types of questions. How many bags can I check? How many suitcases can I check? That's an easy enough question. A more important one is, will my luggage go straight through, or do I need to pick it up in Chicago? This is the type of question that you'll need to ask, especially if you are in transit, where you have to change flights at some point in the journey. So, for example, when I fly to the UK and I go through Incheon in Korea, I will ask, will my luggage go straight through, or do I need to pick it up in Incheon? It's always a smart idea to ask these questions when you do an international flight. Next question is, how much is the fee? So you can have the oversized baggage fee. That is when your suitcase or your bag is actually larger than the dimensions that you're allowed, or it's actually overweight. So typically you're allowed 20 kilos per suitcase. So if you went over that weight and your suitcase weighs 25 kilos, then you're going to have to pay an overweight baggage fee. So generally around the world, this can be anything between $75 to $300. So that's Nanasengo Hakoen to Samman En. It's not the case in Japan, but in some airlines in some countries charge a fee for all checked bags. And that is usually anywhere between $15 and $50. And also something that doesn't happen in Japan too, I think that's because the airline prices are so high in Japan compared to other countries, is some airlines only allow carry-on bags that weigh less than 5 kilos. So again, if your carry-on bag is over 5 kilos, you will be charged an overweight fee for your carry-on bag. So how much is the fee? And it can refer to any fee. And last of all, if you have things that you're worried about in your suitcase or luggage, you can say, please mark this bag as fragile. Fragile. So fragile means that something is easily broken. So they can put a sticker on it that says fragile, and that will warn everybody to be more careful with your luggage. Another thing that you'll be asked about at this step is whether you are carrying prohibited items. These are items that you are not allowed to carry into the aircraft cabin. So we can see here in the picture things like scissors, knives, guns, tools, pen knives, saws, etc. are not allowed to be taken in your carry-on luggage. Again, these are called prohibited items. Prohibited items. And there will be usually a set of questions that the ground staff will ask you to make sure that you are safe as a passenger with your luggage to go onto the flight. So you will hear questions like this. Like these. Did you pack your bags yourself? Did you pack your bags yourself? That meaning is like, did you do that by yourself? Not your mother or your father or your boyfriend or what have you. Did you pack your bags yourself? And do you have any of these items in your bag? So they're going to be referring to the prohibited items, and they will probably show you the diagram of all the items that are not allowed in your baggage. Has your luggage been in your possession at all times? That means that you haven't left it, haven't left your suitcase with anybody else. And do you have any liquids in your carry-on? Liquids can include water, shampoos, what else? Lotions, hand lotions, etc. So you should be answering yes to these questions. You know, these are things that you should be doing by yourself and checking by yourself. You will also be asked these types of questions. Are you carrying any firearms? Firearms refer to guns or rifles. Are you carrying any flammable materials? And you can see a hint in the word there, flame. So things that catch fire easily, things like nail polish or hairspray. These are things that can catch fire easily. So they are flammable materials. Have you left your luggage unattended at any time? I see this in Japan a lot, people walking away from their luggage in the airport and then coming back from the convenience store. That is a no-no in most other countries because things can happen to your luggage. So you want to keep an eye on your luggage all the time. And has anyone given you anything to carry on the flight? Of course, this is a common sense measure. You don't accept things from people to carry in your luggage on any international flight. So you should be answering no to all of these questions. But of course, not all airports in the world have a check-in counter. In some airports around the world, for example, Schiphol in Amsterdam, they now have self-service check-in. And also when I was in the UK last, they also had a self-service check-in. There were no ground staff. So the first time we encountered staff was at the main security gate. So let's go on to the second step of going through security. And here you'll see the conveyor belt, which is, at every security point. So at security, you will be asked again for your boarding pass and ID. So can I see your boarding pass and ID, please? And then you'll hand it over and the security staff will say thank you and please put your coat and bag on the conveyor belt. So I've just shown you that picture there, the conveyor belt. And use a container for any small objects. They might refer to the container as a tray or even a bin. So you probably need to ask whether you need to take your tablet out of the bag. So do I need to take my tablet out of the bag? Do I need to take my laptop out of the bag? And they'll probably say yes. They'll also say, take off your hat and your shoes too, ma'am, and step through. Again, I haven't had to take my shoes off very often in Japan, hardly ever, but this is a common practice in most airports in the world. So you'll go through the metal detector and then it'll go beep, beep. And so if there's any metal on you, they'll be saying, please step back, and asking, do you have anything in your pockets? You might say no, but it might be my belt, and you take off your belt. And so they say, okay, come on through again, ma'am. So we'll go through that one more time. Can I see your boarding pass and ID, please? Thank you. Put your coat and bag on the conveyor belt and use a tray for any small objects. Do I need to take my tablet out of the bag? Yes. Take off your hat and your shoes too, ma'am. Step through. Beep, beep. Okay, please step back. Do you have anything in your pockets? No, but it might be my belt. Okay, come on through again. Have you ever heard of the 311 rule? Okay, so this is a term that is familiar to anybody in North America and in some areas of Europe too. So the 311 rule refers to how many liquids you can bring in your carry-on bag. So generally, each liquid must be around 100 ml or less. And all of those containers must be able to fit into one small quart-sized plastic bag. And the rule is that each passenger is only allowed one plastic bag. So make sure all of your liquids are less than 100 mils and that you can fit them into a small plastic bag when you travel. Okay, there you go. So you can enjoy your flight. If you want to go over this video again and practice the language yourself, you can do so. And I'm going to put a Quizizz URL into the book widget so you can test your knowledge. Okay, that's all.